Hello and welcome to our next video where we will talk about Gliglish, an app which allows us to talk with the AI bot about either interesting topics in the sense of a role play or just use the normal chat where we can choose the topic we want to talk about. So now I will simultaneously show you how it can be used. First, I just search for Gliglish, and the nice thing about the app is that we don't even have to create an account. We can just choose the language and use it for free. Even though if we want to practice several languages or get in-depth feedback, we have to upgrade. However, for the start, it's very nice because there's no login and we can just use it for free. So I open the app on the one hand side. On the other side, I've already created a table in Google Drive. I recommend that you have a Google Drive folder for general language learning or for the different languages if you simultaneously want to learn languages or already have started another language. In that way, you can separate the material and don't get a big chaos. So I created an Excel file on the right side, and on the left side, I now opened Gliglish. I click on Speak Now for free without any sign up required, and I choose the language. Today, I want to practice Spanish. So I click on Spanish, and then I can decide if I want to talk with a teacher or choose a specific role play. Let's say I want to talk with a teacher because today I want to just see which recommendations the AI bot has for me when I want to improve languages. So I click on teacher, and now the program will start with a very basic sentence, just introducing itself and probably asking for my name. Let's see. I click on start.
Hola, soy Gliglish. Practiquemos tu español. ¿Cómo te llamas?
And as you can see, the nice thing is that this app, compared to other apps, also proposes some suggestions. For example, in another app, there are these suggestions not available, which means you have to think about it, which of course can also be helpful. However, in our case, it's nice because it often also gives us examples of how the structure is, what maybe typical answers are, and you then also learn the Spanish which is really talked, being used. So I can click on these suggestions, and I simultaneously also have the translation, which is very helpful. Plus, if I think, oh, this could be a nice sentence, which I probably can use in the future, I can directly open it, copy it, and put it in my Excel file. This Excel file then creates an overview for the different situations. So I can create situations like sport or, I don't know, reading, travels, family. And in the end, the goal is to have like a database which gives us sentences which are really useful and not only, I don't know, you learn and then never use. And this makes it easier that you feel confident in situations where you might use these phrases. Plus, you can put them in Excel like I'm doing, or you can also put them in Notion. I will also create a Notion tutorial in the future videos, but for now I will do it in Excel because my plan is then, this is the advanced step, to also put it into Anki. Anki is a spaced repetition app where you can repeat vocabulary and mark if it was easy, medium or hard. But let's now stick to Gliglish and the Excel file. So I will start with my name, and then I will say that I want to have some tips for language learning, and let's see what the system answers. Hola, me llamo Bodo. ¿Tienes algunos consejos para aprender o mejorar mi español? So, now it's thinking and it will give us the
Hola,
response.
Bodo. Es genial que quieras mejorar tu español. Aquí tienes algunos consejos útiles. 1. Lee y escucha en español todos los días. Puedes leer libros,
And as you can see,
artículos en línea o incluso escuchar música y ver
we get a very
películas en
comprehensive
español.
answer and also
2.
can
Practica
really
la
practice our
conversación con
comprehension.
hablantes nativos o compañeros de estudio. Pregúntales si quieren tener conversaciones en español. 3.
Yeah.
Aprende nuevas palabras y frases todos los días. Puedes
This is a
usar
very
aplicaciones
comprehensive
móviles o
answer,
tarjetas
but it's
de
nice because
vocabulario
in the
para
end we can
ayudarte.
use these phrases
4.
and put them in our
Dedica
Excel
tiempo a
file.
estudiar la gramática.
Okay, so if we might not understand anything, we can just click on translate, and through that, now in my case, because my laptop is in German, I get the German translation. Yeah, if I decide, okay, reading and listening in Spanish every day is helpful. I can read articles online, listen to music, and watch movies in Spanish. I mark it, I click on copy, and I put it in the Excel file on the right. Now I want it like this, and to have it a bit more in a structured manner, I do it like that. So because we're talking about consejos or recommendations, I can put it as a title, which makes it easier to follow. Because in the end, as I said, we want to have a database with different topics which might be useful for us. And of course, you can play around with the different structure and style, because in the end, you also want to have a system which looks nice and you like to work with. So this is the first one. And because we also want to have the translation for our language, we can add it. And the nice thing is, for me, it would be normally German, but let's say I take it in English. I can also, of course, create another column and then put in the French version, because it could be that I simultaneously also want to learn French. So now, later on, I can use the translator of my choice, be it DeepL or Google Translator, and then create a nice database. And as we've seen, these suggestions are now very useful because we can click on them and then click on play. So we have, again, the pronunciation, because it's very important in the beginning to listen a lot and also repeat. So I will just click it.
Voy a tomar en cuenta todas esas recomendaciones.
Okay, and usually to practice my pronunciation, I also repeat it. Voy a tomar en cuenta todas esas recomendaciones. And voy a tomar en cuenta also gives us a feeling of how Spanish is formed, how the sentence is used. I will take into account. Okay, that's quite similar to English, but it can be a nice expression we want to save. So I can click again on copy and put it in my other file so that I always have these phrases close to me, which I might find useful. And now I open simultaneously my translator. I click on copy. Now I want Spanish and English. And I just click on copy and put it in the file. This might seem a bit burdensome, but in the end, you will very much profit from having a system which is structured, which you can always go back to. And if you have the right language in your system, you can also just click on the translation here on the left side, mark it, and then copy it. So that's very useful. And you also have on the left corner translate. So I already get the translation for me in German, which I could also copy and put in the Excel sheet. So I say, voy a tomar en cuenta todas esas recomendaciones. Now it will be sent and it reacts. And the nice thing is, this is how a very nice flow of conversation happens.
Estoy seguro de que si sigues esos consejos,
without
podrás mejorar tu
maybe
español
being
rápidamente.
in fear of speaking to a real
¿Tienes
human
alguna
being.
pregunta específica sobre la gramática o el vocabulario que te gustaría abordar? Estoy aquí para ayudarte.
However, in the long term, of course, you want to also speak with natives or real people. But there are a lot of people who in the beginning are a bit shy and just want to practice their pronunciation. And I think it's completely normal to not be that secure if you've not experienced pronouncing the language. And in this way, you can really get a feeling for the language, speak, listen, and maybe after a few weeks, if you've done that, then you will be able to also speak to real people. The problem is if you don't do it, then you might never feel really ready to start. And in this way, you can really start with very basic conversations. You always have the translation, so you have nothing to fear about. And as you see, we have got more suggestions and the same procedure. I can click on play to listen to it again, translate, and this is how a nice flow creates. And if I want to practice another language, I can just change it on the top corner on the left. In the next video, we will look at how we can take these phrases into Anki, which is for free on the laptop, which uses spaced repetition, which is the best system to learn languages. Because we might think we need intense sessions for one weekend, but what is really important is to do a bit every day, or I don't know, 3-4 times a week, because in the end it's about spacing the memorization process and just sticking to it, because this is how you continuously make a bit progress without having to rely on big motivation for a weekend and then you stop for 2 weeks again. So I hope you liked this video, and see you for the next video where we will discuss what technology can offer us to enhance our language learning.